Hello, Howie G. Thank you for being
Thank you.
our co-host.
My pleasure, as usual.
Call it helping out. Be with you in a moment. Good evening, yogis. Happy to see as many faces as possible. And as always, because of this wonderful gift of being together, we try to give ourselves a little bit of the feeling of being alive and in person by, for those of you who are open to it, unmuting, saying hello, say where you're calling in from. And everyone else, just as you listen, just taking in the nutriment of hearing each other's voices. And please, at your leisure, say hey.
Okay, Jill Regina,
Hey, Jill. Great to see you.
great to be here.
Okay.
Cecilia Scoutsdale.
Hey, Cecilia. Welcome, welcome.
Frank and Rhonda, San Francisco.
Hi, Frank and Rhonda. Deep
Katie
thanks.
Colpitzer.
Could whoever that is repeat themselves?
Howard in British Columbia.
Welcome back, Howard.
Thank you.
So happy you're here.
Kay in San Francisco.
Hi, Katie. Welcome.
David in Burlingame.
Hey, David.
Catherine in San Francisco.
Hello, Catherine, wherever you
Laura
are.
in Maryland. Hi.
Hi,
Maureen.
Laura.
And Maureen from Regina with the sky view.
Oh, beautiful, Maureen. Good job.
Oh, there it is.
Love it.
I'm Agnes from Edmonton.
Hi, Agnes. Welcome. Ooh, we've got
Thank you.
Saskatchewan well represented tonight.
Oh,
Oh,
no, Edmonton, Alberta. Sorry.
Oh, Edmonton. Oh, I thought you said, oh, Alberta. Okay, great. Love. I'll be there the 11th of September.
Yes, I know.
And Margaret, I could tell you wanted to say hello, but
Hi, Margaret from Tucson.
hi, Margaret.
Charlie in Rockport.
Hey, Charlie.
Mary, Santa Barbara.
Welcome, Mary.
Linda in Ypsilanti.
Ah,
Yay, Linda.
Angela, San Francisco.
Hi, Angela. Glad you're here.
and
The Mill Valley.
Miranda, was that Miranda in Mill Valley? Welcome.
Sarah Sunstein from Ancient History.
Oh my gosh. Welcome, Sarah.
I'm in Richmond these days.
Oh, glad to see you.
Ditto.
Okay.
Keith in Berkeley.
Hey, Keith. Welcome. And we have Howie G, who's co-hosting tonight. Thank you, Howie G. The other Howie, or one of the three Howies who are here. And there's no Amy.
where is she?
Okay. Well, anyway, I don't know about you, but I felt the warmth in the heart from just hearing each other's voice and having the gift of your presence here. Don't underestimate the power of your own offering just by showing up, and the beauty of connecting with that greatest gift of all, gift of being awake and aware, that underlies the whole of life and death. And we strengthen this, get used to, enjoy awareness through which we're perceiving. We enjoy that through the way it interacts with our senses, our eyes, our ears, our nose, our tongue, our body, all of it, all our sense experiences help brighten, help us get to know, get used to, stabilize our appreciation of this capacity within us to be aware. So we start by closing our eyes softly. Being aware of that simple fact, what Suzuki Roshi calls the ultimate fact, is that you're aware. This awareness is not so personal. It has no I in it. It is just aware. And we notice how effortlessly in this field of awareness our physical body is known as sensations. So we feel up and down the body these points of sensation, points of feeling, like stars flickering in an evening sky. And we feel the shape and the form. We feel the elements, the heavy and hard, the earth, the sense of solidity or cohesion, the water or moisture if you feel it. You feel the wind, either externally or internally as the breath. You feel the fire, the temperature. Let the elements of nature orient us to this aware experience of being aware. Anchoring us to this unfolding present. As we feel the sitting bodies supported by the earth, notice how without trying to settle just by bringing the body into the field of awareness, it settles. Without trying to calm down, just harmonizing mind and body in this way brings a calming. With that embodied presence, that mixing of attention or awareness and body, so much so that all dividing lines between awareness and body melt away. And as this body and mind harmonize, we're so much more easily able to feel the body's experience of its own breathing. Without any attempt to breathe. You see that the breathing is simply the nature, just like awareness is nature, the breathing is nature. Breathing without a breather. Awareness without somebody who's aware. And anchor our attention to this experience of being aware and breathing. Sinking into the experience of the body's experience of the in-breath, the body's experience of the out-breath. Noticing how the out-breath, there's a letting go into the quiet, the openness of being aware. Breath by breath, gathering, sustaining the conditions are created for calm abiding and a capacity to meet each presently arising experience with less reactivity. We welcome the breath as our home base, but then we welcome sounds when they light up in our mind. We welcome moods as they roll through our mind and body like internal weather. And we welcome the thoughts that float through like clouds. Remaining aware, supported by the body and breath. Just this moment, just this breath, just this being aware. when we lose contact with our sense of being aware, and our supportive anchor, the body, our breath, we find ourselves having been absorbed in a fantasy or lost in thought. This is actually a sign that mindfulness or awareness has rearisen. We appreciate when we wake up to where we are in support of remaining aware in a more continuous way. We gently reconnect with that which is always present, which is our body and breath, or whatever it is that is rising in our senses. Gently reconnecting without judgment. Just appreciation in this capacity to be aware. Mindfulness is not trying to improve your meditation, simply wants to know, notice, be aware of the presently arising experience. Open, welcoming, kind, not going anywhere. Rest in this state of being aware, supported by the body and breath, or whatever it is that presents itself. Each moment fresh, a new beginning. Awareness lets go of all destinations, all of time. And just experiences life as it is. It's always a pleasure to sit with you. My mind was very entertaining tonight. I don't know about yours. I'll share a little bit of what went through during the talk time, but first I'd like to hear from you. Any questions that came up about your practice or any of the instructions that were offered, any topics that emerged, anything you'd like to describe, anything you'd like me to speak about, please feel free. You either use the raised hand function or actually raise your hand and I'll call on you, or Howie G will help me notice you if I don't. But this is a time where your own practice is of benefit in other ways other than just your presence, your understanding or your confusion, your delusion will be of some use to someone else. So please feel free. Sarah, please. Thanks for breaking the ice. Let me just move into speaker mode here so I can see you. There you go.
I appreciated your direction of paying attention to inner and outer sensations, or maybe you said internal and external body. And I think I've done that forever, but something about that phrasing.
Well, it's right out of the Satipatthana Sutra, the sutra on the 4 foundations of mindfulness.
Yeah.
Notice whatever sense experience internally and externally. So
It was like a light bulb for me. So it was different. Sitting.
great,
Thank
great,
you.
great. Use it all the time. Anyone else? Jeffrey, please
Hi.
feel free.
Well, it's just so relieving to understand a little bit more each time. I don't have to get into a conversation with myself about how I screwed up because I distracted because I was in a distraction, that I just stop and just come back, and
Yeah.
it's not a screw up.
No, and it's not somebody who's distracted. It's just distraction. Just not knowing. And when there's either knowing or not noticing. And when there's not noticing, we wander in an imaginary universe, and there's nothing that can be done until knowing rearises. None of that is personal. The mindfulness is a condition that sometimes is there and sometimes not. So wonderful that there's less judgment about that and creating a new self who's not good enough as a meditator. That's also an imaginary one. So good on you.
Thank you.
Okay, not so talkative tonight.
I have a question.
Oh, there you
Sorry,
are.
I couldn't find.
Jocelyn,
Yes, I
please feel
couldn't
free.
find the raise hand.
No worries.
I'm wondering if it's ever possible to become too aware. Like if that's ever becomes a problem, or if that's something that we should strive to, is just like noticing everything all at once.
Yeah, I'm not sure about, thank you for the question, first of all. And my first initial answer is you cannot be too aware. It's just that would be a judgment that's applied to so many things being noticed or so much being taken in, or there may be a moment at times of feeling overwhelmed, but that's just overwhelm. That's not too much awareness. So it's really, because awareness is not something, and I'll talk more about it as we go along tonight, but it's just so innate and natural, and maybe the greatest gift that you both have for yourself and that you offer to the world. And so you can't be too much of it. It's numero uno gift.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very strange. I lost you. Somehow the entire application just completely crashed. So, but I'm glad that I'm back. Anyone else before Don, please feel free.
Yeah, I just want to piggyback on the last question about hyper awareness. Like, can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay. Like lately, the more I meditate, I'm just much more cautious in traffic, and I'm aware of every little thing and everything that's going on in the side streets, everybody who's walking. And I wonder if that would be included in too much awareness, or is that just happening and is just something that I have to kind of lean into?
I don't think we need to lean into anything or avoid anything if there's awareness, but to be just aware of what's being noticed. It's if clearly comprehending this is what's being noticed right now, and noticing if there is some other attitude of mind like fear or trying or different things that can become sources of tension. But awareness is completely neutral. It just knows. And it doesn't grasp and it doesn't push away and it doesn't evaluate, it just notices. And so consequently, it's just can't be too much. So even that word, even that expression, hyper awareness, is sometimes that's awareness that is mixed with some kind of often some kind of tension, some kind of desire, some kind of restlessness, so that is something that you would want to be aware of. You'd want to be aware of the state of mind, the coloring of the mind that is knowing. And awareness is really just completely neutral. But the kind of awareness, the quality of awareness could be very much colored by different mental states. And so just to know that, and they call one of those hyper awareness. Thank you. Catherine, please feel free.
Sure. I'm following on everyone else. I think that what it reminds me of is after retreat, I always find that I'm just sort of open and really sensitive, and
Yeah.
everything seems much more like I listen more, I see more, I feel more, I hear more. I'm not so lost. And I don't know, that's my memory of, it's been a while, but coming off retreat, right, is that just
Yes.
you're laid bare in a way that can feel like that, and you get overwhelmed. Sometimes you have to be really careful. I always find that, like, you don't want to watch TV or listen to the radio, nothing, because it's just too much. But anyway, that's just what I was thinking of based on
Sometimes there is that feeling
stuff.
of it feels too much. And yeah, so then you nurse the mental state and then respond to it with awareness. And then awareness provides you usually the intuition to know I've too much right now. Let me be quiet or whatever. But thank you. Yeah, that's a wonderful example of what happens when there's more continuity of mindfulness. That openness, the natural openness, is it's more pervasive, and then our senses are much more keen. Yeah, thank you, Miranda. Please feel free, and then Mary, and then that'll be it for tonight. Miranda, you have to unmute though and start over.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm at the moment acting as a caregiver for a very close friend of mine who just had a heart attack and is looking forward to, well, not looking forward, but will need more medical intervention. And I'm feeling very alone in caring for him because he's very shy about asking for help from the community. And I'm feeling overwhelmed, emotional, frustrated, exhausted, and finding that I myself am also struggling to ask for help from the community. And I'm wondering if you have any words of wisdom for me or for him as well.
Well, first thing is your presence with your friend or whoever it might be. I'm sorry that they're going through that, but your presence is the most wonderful offering. But sometimes we have to offer that presence to ourselves. And if we don't attend to ourselves with that same care that you are offering to that person, you end up stuck in a lot of reactivity. But if you attend to it, then it actually fills you up, it empties you out, and then allows you to be, more available to that person. And so, yes, it's great if you can seek support, mirroring from other people's presence, but not to forget that, as the Buddha put it, you could scan the world in all directions and not find anyone more deserving of loving attention than oneself. From yourself. It may sound like a little mental gymnastics, but can you feel any sympathy, any caring for your overwhelmed heart right now?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been resting a lot, and also just like making really nourishing meals that I share with him. So we're kind of like caring for ourselves together.
Great.
But I'm just coming up against, I guess, a lot of frustration because I'm only here for a short amount of time. I actually came from overseas to help him. So there's this real sense of urgency, not just for his health and safety, but also just wanting to see progress and things taking a lot of time.
Yeah, and so what our own aware presence provides us is the opportunity to see where there's poisons that get into our mind, the poisons of wanting things to be other than the way they are, or want our agenda to be fulfilled, and that's where the tension is. It's not so much in the situation, it's in the way that we're approaching it, and that's something that's quite workable, is just for you to be able to name and notice, oh, I'm really trying to push the river here. And the Native Americans say, stay behind the medicine, don't try to push the river, things, you can do what you can do, and do the best you can. And I love that you are taking care of each other together. And so when you say overwhelmed, there are moments of being overwhelmed, but it doesn't sound like all moments. It sounds like there's some really, really nurturing moments. And
definitely.
Yeah. So that's the other thing, to cut through our narrative. Will often frame it as being one thing, but it's lots of things, and it's always changing. So that's the value of being really current like moment to moment current with the state of your heart and mind.
Okay. Thank you, Howie.
Keep doing what you're doing. Good luck with your friend. Mary, last but not least.
Hi, Howie. Well, last week I had mentioned that I had, when I started meditating, I had just seen some news thing that I felt angry about, but in becoming aware of it, and that's a normal thing in our practice, was able to drop it, but it kind of happened like poof. That's what was remarkable about it. It just happened like poof, it's gone. But I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, well, for me, a lot of times, like seeing anger is one of the more accessible or easier ones, because you feel it, you can go, ooh, that feels yucky. I don't want to feel that way.
Yeah,
So you want to kind of
wakes you
get
up.
out of that. But, I was actually thinking, what?
Said it wakes you
What?
up.
I'm sorry.
I
Right.
said the dukkha wakes you
But,
up.
you know,
I'm losing you a little bit. Your connection
Mm.
is you're breaking up a little bit, and your
yeah,
video is
well,
kind of your
with you
video's frozen.
too. And yours was before, and now mine isn't, and yours isn't. I can see both of them. Oh, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
just came back from the Apple store, made it back in time. But in a way, that was also my just about it, and I was thinking, because otherwise you're normalizing something that you should be angry about, and I don't want to do that. So it's not always so black and white.
I'm not sure.
Now you're frozen.
I missed half of what you, Mary. I'm so sorry. I missed half
now
of
you're
what you
not.
said. Mary, I missed half of what you said because your words were coming in and out. So
I'll try one more time, and if
you're
can
breaking
you hear
up.
me now? No.
Well,
Sometimes it
Okay.
helps if
All
you
right.
turn off your video
Sorry.
and try to talk with your video off, like if your internet is bad.
Okay. I'll
Okay.
try one more time. Is that
Good try.
okay?
Yeah, much better.
All right. I just was going to say the last thing was that I realized that was also my judgment about that, and that it's really that anger is okay too, because otherwise we would be unaware or normalizing something that we should be angry about. So that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, it can be a sign of caring.
Yeah.
But we also want to care in a way that doesn't hurt ourselves or hurt anyone else.
Right.
That's all.
Right. I just don't want to become numb.
No,
either,
I don't think a aware person becomes, if anything, becomes the opposite of numb. So anyway, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Howie.
Okay, let's just pause a little bit. Let's feel the residue of what we've been talking about. Yeah, Mary, you'll never become numb. You care about the world. That's a natural expression of an aware heart, as you care. And so, but we do want to reduce we want to care and respond to the world, hopefully not react. The react is often a state of tension and tends to, at least I know for me, when I'm in a reactive state, I tend to say things that I'm sorry I said, do things that I may regret. And when I can certainly, that middle place of being able to feel the charge of reactivity and not suppress it nor act it out, and just ride it until the wisdom can mingle with it, and so that I can actually be useful and effective and not cause harm. So I want to just take a moment to revisit a little bit what was happening during the sitting tonight. Because part of an occupational hazard is that I'm often just opening, I'm not simply just aware and taking in each presently arising thing and just doing the practice. I also have a kind of hidden agenda to see what pops up about what I might want to speak about. And so I noticed that during the instructions tonight that I started to link into reflecting on and speaking about the nature of being aware. And I talked about it, how I think I mentioned during the sitting that there was that awareness without somebody being aware, that awareness is not a personal thing. It's just it's nature. It's just that in us which knows, and it doesn't have a height, it doesn't have a depth, it doesn't have a color, it doesn't have a form, an inside or an outside, a location, yet everything is known. And it is, as I mentioned, Thich Nhat Hanh describing it as the ultimate fact is this simple fact that there is awareness, or you are aware here. And my mind started to percolate with the sense of being aware here. And then I remembered, just because of the my own history, I had different teachers saying things through the years, and one of them that immediately came to mind was Ramakrishna, the great kind of cross-tradition master from India, venerated saint, Sri Ramakrishna, who used to sit around his garden with his friends, and he would just go into a reverie of just resting in a state of being aware, which is nearer than our breath. It is entirely natural to us, and is free, and everything flows from it. And he would just be absorbed in this glorious sense of appreciating the state of being aware. And then he would open his eyes, and he would then start just uttering poetry. And one of the ones that I remember so vividly, and I read this in a book about Ramakrishna, and he just opened his eyes and he said, "Oh, longing mind." So in that first line, longing mind, he was actually describing how our conditioned mind is often longing, wanting to go, wanting to become, wanting something to happen. And he said, "Oh, longing mind, dwell within the depths of your own natural state or your own nature." He says, "Do not seek your home elsewhere. Do not confine your infinity within the mansions of finitude or name and form." So don't confine yourself in ideas of yourself. Like Jeffrey was saying, I'm not doing it right. That's confining ourselves. He's speaking to all of us whenever we have give rise to an idea of ourselves as somebody who's either not right, good, better, best, okay, not okay. All of that is confining ourselves into an imaginary, narrow universe. Anyway, he says, don't confine yourself in the mansions of, don't confine this innate infinity in the mansions of finitude. And then the punchline, your naked awareness alone, O mind, is the inexhaustible abundance for which you long so desperately. So as I was remembering that, just being aware, not even being caught up in being aware of something, even though our practice uses the present changing objects to keep freshening this awareness. But really what all the objects of attention are pointing to is the awareness through which it's being perceived, that is unmoving no matter what it is that's happening. That like awareness of being overwhelmed is not overwhelmed, it's just aware. And I was even I didn't want to interrupt the silence, but at the end of the sitting, I was going to say, notice how the sound of the gong being known does not interrupt awareness. Notice how the opening of the eyes and seeing does not interrupt awareness. Notice how other movements that you make. Awareness is untouched by whatever it is that's being noticed. It is truly an inexhaustible resource. What did he say? Your naked awareness alone, O mind, is the inexhaustible abundance for which you long so desperately. Now, because it's invisible, it is underappreciated because it doesn't exist as a thing or a place or an inside or outside, but yet you're aware. And I was also today, I want to back up. I'll tell you, maybe I'll share the few other quotes that popped into my mind during the sitting. That's why I said it was entertaining. Is when I was about, I'd say 21 years old, I was already kind of inclined toward spiritual matters and meditation. And I started doing meditation at about 17. And I would have my radar out for different teachers that would float through the town that I was living in. I was living at the time in Tucson, Arizona. And there was one fellow, an Indian teacher, who was literally the quintessential archetype of the Indian guru, with long hair and a big beard and the Indian kurtas and the whole outfit. And he would come in, and I want to take a risk tonight and use his accent a little bit for effect. And I know that's a politically risky thing to do. I hope I don't get canceled for doing this, but I have to admit that I've even changed the English on my phone. You know, when I ask the phone to call somebody, it uses an English voice that's in an Indian accent. I have a particular love of the Indian accents. So getting back to this teacher, his name was Vitatari. And he would come into the room and to the gathering, and he would say, he would have everybody sit quietly, and he would say, the atmosphere around is being purified by divine power. The divine power enters your body and mind. You are purified and blessed. And he would repeat it. The atmosphere around is being purified by divine power. The divine power enters your body and mind. You are purified and blessed. And when I would sit with Vitatari, Swami Vitatari, I would feel this, that the atmosphere around was purified by divine power. And it didn't dawn on me at the time that all I was really doing, I was projecting this thing called divine power. And I was projecting an idea of something external entering into me. But what I was really doing is saying the atmosphere, I was opening awareness to the atmosphere of being aware, which is what we gain access to in our practice. We brush through noticing moment to moment changing experiences. We make available to us in those little micro moments of noticing changing objects. We start to get a sense of this, of a substratum, of a more foundational, more ground of openness that begins to be more stable. And so it really wasn't as though the atmosphere was being, I forgot even the words now, the atmosphere around is being purified by divine power. The purification was simply this encouragement to be aware. Like Ramakrishna, this being aware is the inexhaustible abundance for which you long so desperately. And it lives, you, in a way, you are that. You are that more than you are any of the changing conditions within this body-mind. You are not this changing stream of experiences, changing moods. You're not defined by any of it. You're not defined by the head, by the shoulders, by the arms, by the legs, any of it. If you turn up the power of what this actually is, it's a field of changing conditions, and none of it is you. And you could say that being aware is not you either, but it's more you than any idea, than any history, than any role, any accomplishment, any failure, any not enough, good enough, better. What is more primary to your nature, what is more home, is just being aware. And that's actually what the Buddha realized sitting under the Bodhi tree is. He'd been looking for something unconditional in body, in mind, in youth, in health, in life, and they evaporated. And when he let go of the pride, the clinging to youth and health and life, and when he saw the example of someone who devoted themselves to being simple and aware, his mind started to open. And then when he awakened, he said, I didn't gain a single thing. But what he was implying is all he did was remove the mistaken perception that he had been spinning in lifetime after lifetime. So the other thing that I was, maybe I'll share the third one. I've told this story a lot because I used to live on Dolores Street in the city here in San Francisco. And right across the street from where I lived was the Integral Yoga Institute of San Francisco, led by the famous teacher named Swami Satchidananda. And the story I often tell is that I saw on the wall of the Integral Yoga Institute a poster that depicted Swami Satchidananda standing in what's called a tree pose, a yogic posture, a tree pose, standing on a surfboard in the middle of an ocean. And the caption underneath the picture was, "You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. Come meditate with Swami Satchidananda." But over the years, and that was always very, very, it caused a chuckle, and it was just a great example of how we can't stop the waves of our mind, but we can learn to meet things with less reactivity. And the power of that reactivity diminishes when we are much more stabilized in that sense of being aware, and know that we're already resting in our true home. But over the years, I learned about the meaning of the word Satchidananda, his name, Swami Satchidananda. And it speaks to this being aware that I'm talking about tonight. And this Swami Satchidananda, Sat means being, Chit means consciousness, being conscious, and Ananda is bliss. When we are being conscious, there is bliss. And so if you sit sometime and just being conscious, bliss, you can feel the bliss is really just the sense of aliveness that reverberates when we are just conscious. It's not so much conscious of something, not necessarily paying attention to a sight or a sound or a smell or a taste or a thought, but just being aware, being conscious. And so one way, oh, see you, Sarah. So just reflecting on these words, Satchidananda, you can really translate it as being consciousness brings bliss. So just another encouragement to try that. So let me circle around to what was really on my mind today, even though we have only a few more minutes, but I'll try to tie it together. For many, many years, I was aware of this passage, and I think I may have even mentioned it recently on Tuesday night, from the Buddha. And the way that I had heard it was that the Buddha said that there are the two most rare beings in this world are those who feel gratitude and those who benefit others. And my attention always lit on the gratitude part. And I've certainly thought a lot and talked a lot about dedicating our practice to being of benefit. But then I could never find the actual place in the suttas where it was said. And today I heard the more accurate quote. And here's how that quote goes. And then we'll tie it into the earlier conversation. The Buddha said, "These two people are hard to find in this world." Which two? The one who is first to do a kindness, and the one who is grateful and thankful for a kindness done. These two people are hard to find in the world. Which two? The one who is first to do a kindness, and the one who is grateful and thankful for a kindness done. And the word grateful or thankful is the word is katanyuta, K-A-T-A-N-N with the two little things on the top, U-T-A, katanyuta. And today I was thinking about the one who is grateful and thankful for a kindness done. And when I first thought of a kindness done, all the acts of kindness that have been done, how I've been cared for in many different ways, and I thought it's a useful thing to reflect on in a time where there's so many things that you can find to become reactive to and upset about. And this is not to deny all of the horrors of the world that one could dwell on every day. And just bringing back the Buddha's teaching, he says, whatever you frequently think about, dwell upon, becomes the inclination of your mind. And it requires balancing with the gladdening of the heart that comes through practices like being thankful, like being grateful for a kindness that's been done. And so I was reflecting on things that people who've been kind and supportive and generous, this Sangha for one. But that thankfulness, that gratitude expanded to include something that we can feel grateful for every day. And the first and foremost is grateful for this inexhaustible abundance that lives in us, as us, this sense of being aware, but also to everything that has been offered. As Thich Nhat Hanh would say, the sun that shines, the rain that falls, the crops that grow, the farmers who cultivate them and pick them, and the trucker who ships them, the grocer who sells them, just so many things that's so easy to take for granted that are kindness is done to us without any just given freely. And in some ways, the greatest kindness that we can offer ourselves, it's funny, it's kind of paradoxical. The greatest kindness that we can offer ourselves, and one that I'm particularly grateful for, is to remember to be aware. And then to be able to, the greatest kindness that I can offer to another or to you is to bring what so many, this is cross traditions. The greatest gift that you can bring is your presence. I've marveled through that. I have to go, maybe I shouldn't leave you with this story, but I was very much struck by the story that I've repeated many times over the years of the Dalai Lama when he met this family up in Dharamsala who were visiting Dharamsala, and they happened to, through a variety of different circumstances, they were able to have an audience with the Dalai Lama. And when this couple, it was actually a couple, they walked in to the room where the Dalai Lama was meeting with a bunch of people, and they were all from Salt Lake City, Utah. It included the mayor and then this couple that the mayor had run into in the streets. And everyone was sitting around and they were laughing and they were joking. And then the Dalai Lama stopped and he looked over at the couple with a kind of the gift of presence, the kindness of presence. And he said, "You're sad." And that openness, he felt their sadness. And they began to weep And then they proceeded to tell the Dalai Lama that their son, I think, had recently committed suicide. And they cried and cried. And the Dalai Lama did not say a word, but he moved toward them, put their faces in his hands, and he just repeated what he said before, sad. He didn't give any kind of platitudes or God, they're in a better place. He just met them with his empty presence, with just the greatest gift, and their tears subsided. And for the people who were in the room, it was, as the person who told the story described it, as one of the most meaningful experiences that they had in their entire life. Was not because of what the Dalai Lama said, but it was that simple bringing this unconditional quality that lives in you as you, to bring that to bear on this couple, just to be present. No greater gift. This was from, I'll leave you with the words of Rama, since I mentioned, this was from Ramana Maharshi. Your realization of this being aware is the greatest service that you can render the world. Why? Because when you realize your true nature as being aware, you cease to be a source of suffering for others. You cease to project your fears, your anger, your greed onto the world. You become a space for others to find their own peace. So may we all grow in our appreciation of awareness. May we all bring our presence, and may we all grow in peace and equanimity, love and compassion and joy. So, thanks for listening. And I think Mary, or I think Howie G has put in the chat, let's see if ways of offering dana, because we've gone over. I'm just going to let you off the hook, Howie G. Thank you in advance for your generosity. It allows us to keep cooking here, and thank you for that particular act of kindness. And a reminder that, let's see, I think the only retreat offering right now being listed is the Labor Day retreat, which is the 2nd to the 7th of September at Spirit Rock. I think it's probably already over. It's not oversubscribed. Okay, great.
Yeah, I checked today. It's still, registration is wide open.
Okay, very good. Very good. So come one, come all. And at the end of August, I'm planning another hybrid half day. So keep your eye open for that. Anyway, thanks for your practice. Please feel free to unmute and say goodnight to each other. And thanks for letting me just riff about my crazy mind.
Thank you, Howie. Beautiful.
Thank you. Good
night,
night.
Everyone.
Yeah, Howie.
you.
Okay, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night. Thanks,
Good
you all.
night.
Happy
Thanks.
days.
Good night.
We
Mary,
do.
Thank you.
is there a hybrid retreat
Thank
this
you,
weekend with Dharma
Howie.
Collective?
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Good
you,
night, everyone.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Lee?
Thank you, Howie. It was great.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Great to be with all of you.
Question for Mary?
I think Mary left, but you're welcome to ask the question to me. Maybe I can help you.
Is there going to be a retreat with the Dharma Collective this Saturday? Hybrid?
It was not, the only thing I know is that it was not listed in today's newsletter, so I can't answer that more than that.
All right.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, probably not, I guess, but. All right, well, thanks, everybody. If you didn't get a chance to copy what was in the chat, of course, it's in the